I'm Richard Warren. I'm grateful to be here and just let an acknowledgement what it takes to create this time together. From our audiovisual people in the back, to Stephen and C. Raven, who's been working on this music for days, if not weeks, planning. To Carl Gregg, our minister, who's not here, but his fingers and manipulations are here to create it. To Megan and Allison that create a bridge to our community. And to the people that are here virtually and here now, grateful for you being here. So take a breath with me. And on the exhale, let go of all the tensions that you might have from this morning and the days past. And thinking of what you're doing this afternoon, let it go. Take a breath. Notice what's happening with your body. And take a breath with my hope in your breath that my words may inspire, educate, create, maybe humbly, a bit better community. I'm a psychotherapist, life leadership coach, interfaith minister. My guiding principle is to counsel people to emotional well-being, overcoming the negative stories that so invade and create the negativity in their lives. And the words of Brené Brown, to dare greatly, to live a bold life, authentic life, what I want for myself and for others. This morning, sermon, this is not just about men, a call to heal us all. I offer for your thought, for your insight, a developmental, a mental health, and finally a spiritual perspective. For the most recent 20 years of my life and work, I've focused on men's issues, men's work. For my own emotional growth, maturity, healing wounds, to be more the man I want to be, the spiritual being I want to be, and this has guided me. I'm hearing men's angst as they find a way to feel more alive, navigate out of their despair, be aware of their feelings, and find healthier ways to express themselves, all the while claiming their authentic selves. More men are coming to therapy, seeking support, and that is a good thing. So when I read news stories, read research, and my own awareness with men I encounter, these headlines set off a red flag for me. The crisis of masculinity. The state of American men is not good. It is not just a feeling. Data shows boys and young men are falling behind. The high cost of men's loneliness. And the National Institutes of Health issued a report, The Crisis in Male Mental Health, a call to action. By the way, the report is still up online. Many reports are being taken down, as you know. The headlines reflect what we are seeing in our community, significantly more with men, but with all. Depression, anxiety, feelings of estrangement, loneliness, anger, feeling lost, use of drugs, alcohol, social media, other addictions. This is numbing the pain, living in despair, and too many are choosing death. Death by suicide is the fourth largest leading cause of death among men and the seventh leading cause of death among women. This is all to escape societal angst, pain. So on this lovely Sunday morning, with our welcoming Universalist Unitarian community, I don't mean to depress you too. My hope with this talk will generate further thought, conversations. From this pulpit in our community, we address challenging issues and act according to our UU values and seek to make a better world, don't we? Yeah. And my focus on what is happening with men, what is needed, is also what is happening with all of us and what we all need. What is happening to men? Maybe the short answer is from an anonymous and apocryphal source that as Adam and Eve were leaving the garden, Eve said to Adam, "My dear, we are living in a time of transition." Judy Chu, PhD now, offers a developmental insight to what is happening to men in her book, When Boys Become Boys, Developmental Relationships and Masculinity, in which she shares her 2-year study with 4 to 5-year-old boys in an elementary school. By the way, in the fine print, it's she gives tribute to Carol Gilligan. Carol did groundbreaking research about female psychology. Anyone familiar with her? Yeah, good stuff, thank you. Dr. Chu did an interesting observational study. She told the boys in an elementary school at the beginning, "I'm a girl." I'm not a girl, but I'll do the gesture. "And you are boys, and I want to understand what it's like to be a boy. I will observe you. I won't intervene unless you're doing something that might cause harm." Her 2 years with these boys revealed that at the beginning, the boys were emotionally perceptive, articulate, responsive in their relationships, exhibited what we traditionally call masculine and female characteristics of emotional awareness. They were boyishly playful, aware of and sharing their emotions. They were warm, fuzzy, hugging, and huggable humans, much like we see during our story hour with our children. Over the 2 years, she noted they adapted to cultural cues to be stoic, competitive, and aggressive if they were to be accepted as real boys. And what brought me reading the book to tears is an interview she did with one of the fathers afterwards who said something to the effect, "I saw what was happening to my son. I remembered what happened to me, and I felt nothing I could do to stop it from him becoming this stoic, unemotional boy." But there is something we can do. Dr. Chu cites schools, faith communities like ours, families who can foster boys to develop healthy resistance to the stoic, unemotional masculine by nurturing openness, ability to connect with others, and their true selves. Again, I'll ask anyone who is familiar with Terry Real? Good stuff, okay? Recommend. Lots of YouTube stuff by him, lots of good books. No to those. Terry Real is a therapist who has created a therapeutic model called relational life therapy. He speaks to similar issues. He writes, "We traditionally turn boys into men by teaching them to disconnect, disconnect from their vulnerability, disconnect from their feelings, disconnect from others. And the consequence of a disconnected boy is a disconnected man. This disconnected man falls prey to the patriarchal structures that suggest you can either be powerful or connected, but you can't be both. And we're seeing this in our society too often, where men use power over others, to control, to dominate, and certainly in our politics, where bullying is now too often accepted, if not praised. Yet men do strive for intimacy, for connection. Yes, love. Men, women, gender, and non-gendered, us humans, we're hardwired for connection. We see what is happening with men, and many men in particular don't know how to ask for support, to achieve that intimacy. And in their pain comes anger, isolation, depression, even suicide. For men, it is essential to come to the truths. We are not invulnerable. No man is an island. Terry Real advocates for an approach he calls loving power, or soft power. This involves the ability to assert your needs and stand up for yourself while also cherishing and valuing your partner, friends, colleagues. It's about finding a way to exercise loving power that leads to healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Giving and receiving love. More of that. Rio has a message for us all, especially for women. He writes, "So I don't want women to stand down from their demands. I want men to stand up and meet them. What women are asking for from men is relationality, is learning to be intimate, is opening up your heart and sharing your feelings, being vulnerable, being soft when your partner is vulnerable, being responsible. These are wonderful things for guys," he writes. "So stop whining and let me teach you how to do it." Yet the challenge is this. Becoming men, boys are too often here to say, "Big boys don't cry." As men, we are asked, "What are you thinking?" or "What are you feeling?" Too frequently, a man is then told, "You shouldn't feel that way." Same shutdown message. Dr. Chu and Terry Real point to a new paradigm. Richard Rohr is a Franciscan priest and has focused the last 20 years of his life on men's work. When I was looking and putting his slides on, I noticed that he does not identify himself as Father Richard Rohr, and he doesn't like the term father, but I'm using it. He wants to be called Richard. Good name. He offers a spiritual perspective to men's issues, for men in crisis. He attributes the crisis of male identity to lack of healthy male initiation. He also believes there's a lack of female initiation going on. Initiation is a ritualized coming of age, learning who is your community, your tribe, the values of this community, and what is your purpose or where do you fit in. Richard argues without initiatory experiences, men struggle to understand who they are, their place in the community, and their purpose, which leads to a sense of emptiness, despair, and unhealthy practices. In his writings and through a retreat he recreated called Men's Rite of Passage, Men are guided in reflections, meditation, and time alone in nature. They are asked to contemplate 5 spiritual truths. Life is hard. You're not that important. Your life is not about you. You are not in control. You're going to die. They mirror, in some ways, the 4 noble truths of Buddhism. And in these reflections, participants embrace they are not alone. They have a community of care. There is a divine plan where they're apart, and they can make their lives count. Dr. Chu, Terry Real, Father Richard are illuminating a similar path for what men need: to embrace gentleness, compassion for self and others, rather than suppressing emotions and resorting to aggression. And the way is being aware and expressing emotions, asking for what you need, connecting through vulnerability rather than conforming to stoic, masculine, what boys and men should be. On retreats where groups of men gather seeking renewal, and there are women retreats that do a similar vein, in nature, what these 3 wisdom sources voice: connection, loving power, steps towards authenticity, are often met. Let me share a story of men coming together to become more loving, powerful men. It's partially my story, shared with 15 other men, ages 29 to 76, that began last November and ended in June. This tribe of men committed to 1 long weekend each month from Friday to Sunday. We rose each day walking to a field, to a morning dance, embracing the energies of the earth. We fell into each other physically and emotionally in trust falls. As boys, we waded into a river, baptized anew into masculinity. We faced trauma of our past with tears and laughter, holding each other and celebrating insights and renewal. We discarded the many masks we wear, dove into the sacred to see ourselves anew, and created masks of mystery and delight. We faced our death. Eulogies were said about us. And we danced, morning has broken. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, praise for the morning, and chose life. We cooked healthy meals together, though the abundant snack table was nearby. We experienced the mystery of life, the mystery of our lives. And we knew we could choose to leap into this mystery or not, and we did. We, a group of men, devoured the meal that so many men yearn for, that all people really yearn for: the need to trust, leading to deeper vulnerability, to deeper connection. And through this trust, vulnerability, and connection, we of diverse ages and backgrounds discovered that we are held, we are celebrated, and are all loved. It was an 8-month rite of initiation. There are an increasing number of men's retreats. Men's work is happening in therapeutic and spiritual counseling, and the deeper work will always, I believe, be in our relationships with friends, with family, maybe family of choice, in faith communities like ours, and in our relationships with spouses, siblings, offspring, significant others. My dear friends, sisters, brothers, siblings, all who do and who do not identify as men, Eve was right. We are living in an age of transition. Unitarian Universalists are the voice and active in so many just causes, noble causes. Polly speaks to that. Bob on the back table speaks to that. Climate, racial justice, GLBTQ+, and so much more. And we are a nurturing, caring community where we can sustain each other, hold each other, listen to one another. In a time of transition, more of this nurture is needed. What is happening with men? Developmentally, culturally, psychologically, and spiritually, the same path for healing is being revealed. Loving soft power leading to connection, intimacy, authenticity through vulnerability and listening to one another, for men and for us all. I hold our UU values speak to this, and I take heart that we are doing this during times of joys and sorrows, and man shares his time in a hospital and tears up sharing how much being cared for meant. When a young man celebrates his authentic self, by sharing with us, he came out to a family member, and we all applaud. When I hear in a small group in this building, a man says to his peers, I live in fear that if I ask for help, it won't be there. I'm choosing to ask for help when I need it. When I hear in the hallway a man says to another man, I could use a hug. And the response is a deep, shared hug. This is the challenge. This is the challenge I give you. Men in your life may present as stoic, in control, invulnerable. They aren't. You aren't. We aren't. I aren't. But there's hope. Guide them. Guide yourself. Guide us to soft power, loving power. Be curious. Be there for each other. Listen to understand, not just to respond. And as needed, ask, how can I support you? How can I help? Tell each other you're not alone. And men, let's drop our shields, choose to be vulnerable, choose to be more loving and lovable. Let it be so.